In the following, a retired FBI agent is called in to deal with a serial killer who has spent the last 9 years using the internet to recruit like-minded killers to carry out his objectives.
Please, hurry.
Back when I reviewed the pilot, I thought the following had major potential because it had a great cast, it was violent, the only problem was the fact that it didn't really have much of a style. It kind of felt like every other show that's on TV these days. Now that the first season has concluded, I have to say I did enjoy it overall. There were a lot of good things about it, but at the same time there were some bad things about it, primarily the style. It never really got its unique style that I really thought might show up later on in the season, and because of that, I didn't fully get into it enough that I really cared about all the characters or their fates, but I did care about some of them because the acting is great. But let's get a little more into the following, starting off with the plot. Now, the overall plot of the show I thought was actually pretty interesting. I was wondering what was going to happen next, and there were plenty of cliches and some bad writing here and there, and honestly, a lot of the characters did stupid shit, especially in the finale, which I'll talk about at the end when I can talk spoilers, just in case you don't want to know, in case you're not caught up. But luckily, there were enough good moments that I was able to look past those bad things because cliches are so common these days that you almost have to expect it, and it's a breath of fresh air when you don't have cliches, but this definitely did. So, unfortunately, that is one way that the show felt a bit standard, but the main way is in just the visual style and the editing, I guess. The whole show felt like a show you've seen a million times, and that's unfortunate because I think with better direction, with just a better style, a better tone, it could have been much better. But don't get me wrong, because there were some good things about the directing and the style and the tone. The violence, I have to say, you know, even though that doesn't necessarily add to the story or add to the substance of the show, it would have been lame if it wasn't violent, because it's about serial killers recruiting serial killers. You know, you have to have violence, and it would be distracting if it wasn't, but it was. I would say the violence continued from the pilot, maybe not as intense. I think they kind of, you know, drove it home in the pilot to get you hooked. The one moment that I need to mention is early on in the season. It's not a spoiler or anything like that as far as the plot goes. It's just something that happens, so it's not a big deal. A guy in a Poe mask lights another guy on fire, and it is pretty damn intense. Those Poe masks are terrifying, so that whole scene was chilling. Anytime the Poe mask came up, it was pretty spooky. Although, speaking of Poe, I feel like that kind of died out a bit too. The whole writing a story thing continued, but the Poe aspect sort of got diluted big time, and then they tried to bring it back a little bit toward the end, and it just felt a little bit shoehorned in. It felt natural at the start, but then it started to feel less natural as the show went on. But without a doubt, the best part of the show, and the reason I kept watching, honestly, the main draw is the acting. Kevin Bacon is the freaking man. He is awesome, and I knew that he would be great from the pilot. I mean, actually, you don't need to watch the pilot to know Kevin Bacon is amazing, but he was fantastic throughout the whole show. Shawn Ashmore, sort of as his partner, was also great, and James Purefoy, if that's how you pronounce his name, also excellent. So I would say mainly Kevin Bacon and James Purefoy were fantastic together, but Shawn Ashmore was very good. I thought that the two guys who were gay in the pilot, they were really interesting, and so I was definitely invested in their characters. I would say the one character in the show that I kept going back and forth on whether or not I liked her was Emma. And it's not a matter of whether or not I liked her as a character in the sense that, you know, she's obviously bad, so I like to hate her. But, I mean, the actress, I feel like she was a little bit desperate to be unsettling sometimes, and it was very forced. And that actually was in a lot of these sort of side people. You know, there would be like, there was a girl at one point who was sitting in a diner across from somebody, and I won't say what happened just in case you don't want to know, but you probably know what I'm talking about if you watch the show. She, I feel like, tried way too hard to be, you know, creepy and unsettling, and she's not the only one. She's just the more recent one that I remember. So that was one thing that I think took away a little bit, is that I could picture them, like, thinking, oh man, I'm going to be so cool, I'm going to be so creepy, people are going to love it, but it was a little bit distracting. However, doesn't take away from the fact that Kevin Bacon was great, James Purefoy was great, and I like Shawn Ashmore a lot as well. Obviously, there are plenty of other people in the show, like Natalie Zia as Claire Matthews, and I'm not going to go into everybody, but I thought they were all fine. I really didn't think anybody was bad. It was just, like I said, some of the serial killers, the side killers, I guess, were a little bit overdoing the creepiness. What didn't feel natural. But now I'm going to talk about spoilers because I gotta talk about the season finale, how it ended. It's crazy. If you have not watched The Following, do not watch the rest of this. Watch The Following if you're interested, you know, whatever. And then you can come back and see what I had to say. But for now, hopefully if you're still watching and you care about spoilers for The Following, you are not watching? No, you watched it. I don't know where the hell I'm going. Hopefully you watched the show. Let's talk spoilers. So mainly, I just want to talk about the end of the finale episode, which I thought was pretty good. I do think that the show, you know, kind of went on different levels throughout. I was into it, I was not into it. It had its moments, and then it had its drawbacks. But I definitely thought the finale was good. I was really into it. And the ending, what the hell? So there is going to be a second season, apparently. If Joe Carroll's not in it, I'm not really that interested. So did he drop through a trapdoor? That's what my dad thinks. Instead, it ended on a major cliffhanger. Obviously, Kevin Bacon's gonna live because that's the whole show. I wouldn't watch if Kevin Bacon wasn't on the show. I don't know about Claire. I think she's gotta live too. Where's the kid? Kid's not there. I actually thought the kid was gonna be chopped up to bits or something when they dropped off the delivery or whatever that was. And yeah, it ended very weird, but I do love the fact that that one character, I don't remember her name, I forgot a couple of names here and there, came back to kill him because she said she wanted to be the one to kill him. I thought that was pretty clever because I totally forgot about her, but it was legit. They set it up. But I don't really know exactly how I feel because on one hand, I like cliffhangers, and I think that it ended in an interesting way in the sense that everybody just got stabbed, but I don't know if Joe Carroll is going to be in Season 2. He's gotta be. He's gotta be. How could they not have him be in Season 2? He is the other best part of the show. So, fingers crossed he'll actually be in it, because otherwise, I don't know. I don't know if it hooked me enough to watch without, you know, this story continuing. So, let me know what you thought was the best part of the show. I thought the acting was the best part, like I said, but I did also appreciate some things like the violence and, you know, obviously, like I said, the whole show had its moments. I was invested here and there, not through the whole thing. Once you're done leaving me a comment down below what you thought of The Following, click over here to check out my review of the pilot, see, you know, if what I thought then matches up with what I think now. Click the Facebook and Twitter icon to go to Facebook and Twitter, obviously. Click the logo to subscribe for more reviews, and that's pretty much it.
Shall we start with her eyes?